Hey there, Chris again, back with another installment of my maybe logic-defying idea to hike the lakeshore. Last ended at the Turkey Neck Yacht Club, so that's where I am today. It is January 23rd, and coincidentally it's about 23 degrees out. But it seems like a pretty good day to try and tackle some of these the streams that come in the southern end of the lake. It looks like it's going to be probably nice and frozen solid. So this might be a good day to tackle that in spite of the coldness. But boy, it is really beautiful out here today. So, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. The cold is definitely a little bit of a factor. But amazing clear day, sun's out. That should help warm stuff up, and hopefully the cold will make it a little easier to make the journey. So, off we go. Not too much to report, but other than the wind is not blowing. It is absolutely amazing out here. Awesome time, just stark, beautiful. Wind is blowing. That's the thermodynamics. Body absolutely bad, so it's too bad. I'll throw them on. That's one of the big things in my face is just walking straight into the net. Yeah, I think as the sun gets up, it's about 10:30 right now, so we'll get maybe a couple hours of nice intense sun. I like the cold. I've been building this physique with extra insulation for years for nothing. Building this drought, famine, blizzard-resistant body. Takes a lot of years of work. But, yeah, this is, I think, a good day to do this. That dies down. Section where I'm walking right into the wind. It's going to be perfect. But, really haven't seen a whole lot of evidence of anyone being out here. One ice fisher person scared some people off. I haven't even really seen any evidence of people having their snow built up. Confident in that. But I am coming up, I think, on my first kind of stream crossing up there. I think this is a named stream, or named cove even. But we'll see if my theory of things being frozen up turns out to be right. So, next time you see me, I may be a lot wetter, hopefully not. But hopefully, just crosses right over. Well, hopefully you heard that train whistle. I was trying to capture that the last leg of this hike, but yeah, it's when my wife first heard that on our last leg, she said, "Where's that train? Where are we so close to a train?" So right over there, Swanton, train comes through there. So good acoustic condition days like this, you can really hear it. But it is kind of an anomaly. You don't ever really think of train. If you want a full history lesson about the importance of that train line, you can go to one of the places places that I like. The museums downtown. There's the B&O train station. There's the historical museum. There's the transportation museum. All great stuff. I think you should consider the historical society too. That's one of the organizations I'm involved with. Garrett County Historical Society. Do a Google search for that. Just $25 a month. You get a great publication, all kinds of other great benefits. But here we are at tributary. So we do have some open water, some running water. You know, and then the whole thing about ice is you don't really know what's underneath the snow a lot of times. You kind of see right there a little shelf with probably running water underneath that. Probably not anywhere better for me to get across. So I'm just gonna take it easy, try and be smart. You know, this is a good place to test. Like doing some poking here. Probably do need a little heavier stick. Really punch through if there were some thin spots. But that seems to be successfully crossed. And well, ironically, looking now, it looks like there's a bridge over that. So that wouldn't have been too big a deal to try and get across that. But this is a good test, I think, for how what I'm really worried about is crossing Deep Creek, where it comes in at the very southern tip of the lake. You know, I have actually never been down there. You can't really get too far in a boat. There's no really public access to get down there. Everything around there is privately owned. So there is no good way to get to that particular area where Deep Creek really forms the lake. And it's another kind of worrisome area there that I really want to be careful going through there. If I do fall in, we're not talking like Alaska, but it's fairly remote. There's no roads that come up to that spot. It's all farmland. So, with this wind and temperature, if I fall in and I'm hypothermic and have to wait another 10 or 15 minutes for either get to a road or someone to get to me, that could be those, those golden minutes there. But, I don't want to make this to be like I'm some sort of survival show. I think all these risks are pretty easily manageable. I'm not planning on crossing any deep areas of the lake today, but I do want to critically keep my shoes dry. That would stop the trip. In the previous hikes, I lived with some squish factor in there while some of the water infiltrated into my boots. But today, that is not something I'm willing to deal with. Freezing conditions, cold, wet boots, no thank you. But that was the first stream crossing. Went well, no mud bogging, no falling through the ice, so I'm optimistic about however many more I can do today. Hopefully I can knock out most of the southern end of the lake, the southern part of the lake that's south of the Glendale Bridge. That's where most of the kind of swampy tributaries come in. Looking at the map this morning, I counted about 7 spots where there's flowing water coming in between where I started and the Glendale Bridge. So hopefully I can knock a good bit of those out and then tackle the northern section of the lake in coming days and months. So you can hear that train again maybe. And we'll press on. Got some little critter prints footprints here. There are some sort of raccoon. Big enough to be a bobcat. But this reminded me, so I don't know, in one of my previous videos, I saw some mollusks, some snails, shells on the shoreline, and those in particular are of concern. I sent a picture of those to Julie Bortz, who's the biologist for the lake, and she was very thankful I sent them because where I found them, which was north of North Glade Cove, they had not seen those there before. So those particular snails, those mollusks, are either Chinese or Japanese mystery snails, and they're an invasive species that the DNR wants to keep track of. So the point of all this is to, if you see interesting, weird, anything that you have a question about biology-wise at the lake, and that includes grasses and the submerged aquatic vegetation, definitely contact Julie Bortz. I'll put up her email and phone number, but she loves to get those questions. It is her job. It's the job of the DNR to help manage and keep the lake healthy. So if you ever have any questions about stuff you see biology-wise at the lake, contact Julie. She's super great. She'll answer your questions, or find someone who can, or get out there in the mud and figure out what it is. Got another cove crossing coming up here. I'm just almost the penultimate southern tip of the lake. This little cove here. So you can kind of see the indications of getting into the swampy, mucky area. See how this crossing goes. But I feel like I'm making great time. I brought some little clip-on type things for my boots, but for the most part, the ice is covered with that nice crunchy snow that gives you good traction. Really haven't regretted. I was thinking about maybe bringing my cross-country ski boots, wearing those, maybe doing the skiing, and then I also have some skates when you can clip off the skis and clip on the skates. So I was thinking about doing that, but the boots have been just the regular old hiking boots with the gaiters have just been perfect so far. But I didn't bring Spencer today. I'm sure people are wondering about him. Okay, so while I was talking, went in kind of a deep spot there. Doesn't look like it got too muddy, but yeah, so you can see right in here, probably got some sort of seeping water coming in, keeping that water from freezing up there. I think I'm good on my boots, but that definitely underscores the importance of being smart and safe. I'm not trying to tell anyone how to be safe, so if you come out here, it's totally on your all that. But I think for the most part, you can be intelligent and make good decisions about whether it's safe to go out in the ice or not. And it's worth it. It's pretty cool. You can go out here when it's a nice frozen day, when the wind's not up, the coldness isn't too much of a factor, and it's a great way to see and experience the lake in a totally different way. At the southern point of the lake right now, looking north. So that is Deep Creek. right there. I'm gonna hike up a little bit, see if there's a good spot to cross where I'm not taking, you know, I have no idea how deep that is. If I go up waist deep at this point, you know, like I said, there's not a lot nearby. But there have been some people walking back here fairly recently. So we'll see if there's a spot up here. Looks like that gazebo is on my side. That's interesting. I'm not really sure who would have a dock all the way back here. No houses, but there's some big farms that abut this area until you get up to like the Pergan farm area. Well, this looks good here, and then I'm probably going to be jumping over there. So let's, I guess, see how it goes. You know, I can always go back out more into the main part of the lake and go for it there. But where's the fun in that? Ooh, I don't know. You can kind of see some spots where it's wiggling a bit. I'm gonna go for the jump. Hey! Made it! So, and then I feel like I can probably do a bit of a running jump and hit this one. It's going to be a matter of how deep I sink in. That would be disappointing. But yeah, I remember seeing that. I was suspected just from looking at aerial imagery. There is a little pavilion out here, a little gazebo, but have never made it back. Ooh, maybe I can cross here. That would be convenient. I want to be trying to cross over here to the right. Oh! There's some deer tracks. Some deer have been checking out this little spot, which is probably not good news for me. They were probably trying to get down here and find an open spot where there's water. Look at that. So my original jump plan is probably what I'm gonna have to do here. It's kind of like a little island, I guess. It does not help me get across there, though. Okay, so I'm at that spot where I'm thinking of jumping. So what I'm really worried about most is just, yeah, getting sucked right in. But it seems real solid. For the most part. Oh boy. Alright. I don't know if I'm coordinated enough to do this with the camera and everything I'm holding. But ah! All right. Could I have just walked across there? Yeah, I guess so. But that was one of the crossings. I was kind of sweating because clearly, if this wasn't frozen up and solid, I would have had to hike quite a bit further up to get across. So these conditions really help me out here. But yeah, I'm officially, I guess, on the western side of the lake now. Yeah, it's going well. So I made my successful transit of Deep Creek and heading up now the western bank here, western shore. You know, weather has gotten a little cloudier. I think there's some snow called for later in the day, but either my adrenaline's up from, you know, still jumping over the creek, or just kind of gotten the body temperature up from the activity, or the temperature has gotten up a little bit. Feeling very comfortable. The wind is still present, but mainly on my back, so not nearly as bad. But yeah, behind me you can see the southern end of the lake. I'd never been down that far before. I think every time you're in a boat, just kind of like, you know, I don't feel like really going too much further past this point. It starts to get shallow and mucky and muddy. But I was talking earlier about Spencer. I didn't bring him today. His paws tend to get cold. I see him start like kind of gnawing on him after he's been out in the snow and the ice too long. But we had a great day yesterday. Took him out cross-country skiing and a little snowmobile chasing out at the Lions Club Park in McHenry. So that's another organization near and dear to my heart. We are one of the local Lions Club, and our flagship programs are the blind skiers and blind campers. We've got a session of the blind skiers coming up here, and we bring visually impaired kids up here. You know, all expenses paid, lodging, food, work with the WISP on lift tickets, and we have sighted guides who help take them skiing. So there's a variety of ways that they can get up there, and we take them down the slopes, they ski, and really introduce them to the fun and confidence building experience of skiing. We do that for 4 sessions this year. We have a blind camper program in the summer that's similar, where we take kids out here on Deep Creek Lake. All the fun activities that the lake has to offer in the summer. And then we manage that park over on Bumblebee Road. We've got, you know, all the typical park amenities. There's going to be a pump track, a bicycle pump track coming this year. We've got a trail system, great for cross-country skiing, hiking, biking, and that trail system is home to the Meshach Browning History Center, so there's a lot of great historical resources about Meshach Browning, who was one of the first settlers of Garrett County and a prolific hunter, so a lot of great stories about hunting during the early 1800s and just living in what would become Garrett County. So that's another great organization I encourage you to check out, get involved. You know, if you're even if you're a lake visitor, you can always get involved in any organizations by going to events. If you're a part-timer, even. We have a number of members in our club who are go to Florida in the winter, and then when they're up here in the summer, they participate. So, you know, give a little bit extra time and do what you can to help out some of these great organizations in our community. So that's the end of the commercial. This one, I'm sure I'll have some more coming up, but that's the price you pay for me being out here in the middle of a big empty space. Sometimes you just gotta fill the time with some words. You know, just entering Pond Run Cove here. Nothing too much to report. It's a fun little spot here. I'm sure when the lake is not frozen, this is a couple feet of water, but it's just fun to be able to walk through here. Nothing too exciting, but you know, you got to take them where you can. It's been largely uneventful since crossed over Deep Creek. Just quiet and flat and white. This is the first time the wind has actually started to pick up. The wind has been really calm. Probably just coming into this cove kind of funnels it down. But yeah, it was feeling a little warm a few minutes ago, even though the sun has largely become overcast. Just without that wind, it's actually quite pleasant. You know, I'm sure that's a matter of my own personal judgment. But yeah, make a good time. I think last time I looked at the tracker, it's been about 4.5 miles since I left. A little over 2 hours. So I think my usual time on the last two hikes has been just a tiny bit over 2 miles an hour. I think I'm getting closer to 2.5 here. So it makes a difference just to be able to walk on this nice flat ice. You know, I've only really had to slip and catch myself just a couple of times, so I haven't even put on the little rubber grippers for my boots, because I find when you wear those for a long time, you start to kind of feel it in your soles of your feet. Just they've got little spikes on them that just start to create pressure points on your feet. So yeah, if I don't have to wear them, I'm gonna just stick with the boots. I've got boots and gaiters today. Gaiters have been nice. There have been a couple spots where the snow's drifted. You know, I've been kind of walking through calf-high snow, so that these really keep the snow out of getting on between your pants and your socks there. Yeah, all is well, and just plugging along. I'm at the very end of Pond Run Cove here, and what I should have just done was crossed there where the ice was solid. But you can see where, you know, Pond Run is coming along here, and have to hike a little bit further up there to cross it. Or what I could do is try here and see what happens. I think this is a bad idea. I don't think I'm going to do camera needed. Everything else when I'm doing this, so I'll just have to see you on the other side. Well, very creaky and cracky, but I made it. So I think if I really get motivated, I might be able to get all the way back up to the Glendale Bridge today. We'll see. I think I've got Blakesley Cove, Paradise Point. So I only have 2 more coves. Paradise Cove. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, there's good ways to just hike out of here, get back to the main part of the lake. See through those coves. So we'll see. But yeah, it's clearly been much easier to get over these streams. I'm sure what I'm walking in right now would have typically been a swampy mess the last time I went. So this is a great time to do this part of the lake. So I don't know, what commercial am I on? My third commercial, I guess, for local organizations. So being back in these, no. Well, it kind of goes to my point here, being back in these sedimenty coves that are kind of muddy and mucky. Is another organization I'm in is the Property Owners Association of Deep Creek Lake. So we represent property owners from all around the lake. We're not like the HOAs that plow the roads and maintain the development, but we are a representation and informational awareness and advocacy group. So yeah, some of the issues are lake levels, the health of the lake. We recently contributed to purchasing some more water quality monitors for the DNR to monitor the health of the lake. We send out quarterly newsletters and then emails on breaking news about issues of importance to lake property owners, and we represent the interests of property owners on a lot of official boards and organizations at the state and county level as well. So if you're a lake area property owner, I encourage you to check out that organization. That's just $30 a year to join. So if you've just splashed out an eye-watering amount for your lake house, 30 bucks is the best deal on the lake. So I'll try and put the website up there, but you can just search for Deep Creek Lake Property Owners Association and find out more about that. So that's the end of this message from our sponsors, but I'm sure I'll be back with another one coming up here. Now back out onto the main part of the lake here. Back out from Pond Run Cove area behind me. It's kind of been off and on the wind, but even then it's still not too bad. I don't know what it was about earlier today. The wind was really brutal. Right now this breeziness is just kind of a little cooler, but not too bad. But not too much to report. Just a quiet, peaceful day on the lake. I think that fisher out there is one that I saw when I was on the other side when it started. So I think that brings about a total to about 3, maybe 4 people I've seen out ice fishing today. And like I saw earlier, saw a couple of people walking a dog, and that's been it. It has been a very unpopulated day out here, which is kind of surprising because I feel like there's plenty of spots where people could be comfortable ice fishing. You usually see that happen as soon as the ice is thick enough. I'm sure there were a couple spots where people had taken their snowmobiles right along the shore, but I still haven't seen any evidence that people have taken them out in the main part of the lake yet. Well, maybe a couple more days. And I'm just stopping for a little lunch break here. Just found a spot where there's a rock wall and someone had pulled their dock up and it's still not quite all the way out, so it's just a little shelter. It's not like it's raining or anything, but and the wind is gusty, so if it picks up, it's nice to have a little shelter here. So thanks to some, we'll call them overly worried people who, care about regulations, I looked and confirmed what the rules are about walking the buffer strip, and as I was pretty sure to begin with, the Code of Maryland regulations explicitly says that walking the buffer strip is a permitted use. But there's a lot of interesting things that aren't, like pretty much walking and fishing from the buffer strip are the only thing that are permitted. On the unallowed things are like swimming from the buffer strip, so you can't legally swim out into the lake from there. You can't ride, vehicles on the buffer strip. And one thing that is actually prohibited is picnicking. So I do want to assure you that there is no checkerboarded blanket here. There's no baskets, no necktie wearing bears anywhere in the vicinity. So I am not picnicking in any way. I am just stopping and happening to eat. So back on the main part of the lake here, it is snowing a little bit, so it was calling for some snow, and that's happening. And it is about 2 o'clock, yeah, I'm feeling really good about actually getting to the Glendale Bridge. We'll see what happens in these next two coves, but that would be pretty cool to essentially knock this out today. So I'm gonna get to eating and then back to hiking. So I just finished my non-picnic lunch, and I realized, again, one of those things where back where I started, so right across the lake, a little tough to see if I'm looking at it, is the Deep Creek Yacht Club, where I started this morning. So I could walk just right back over there and get back in my car, but I'll knock some more of this out. Wow, the going's good. But looking at the map, maybe I was a little over-optimistic. I do kind of like lose track of the, how far it is to the bridge from here. But I'll get as far as I can, and there'll be less to do on the next run. I'm out of the Blakesley Cove, so one more to go, and then it's kind of a straight shot to the bridge. Imagining you'll probably be able to see the Glendale Bridge in just a minute here. We'll see. So I better fill that time with another message from our sponsor. So in this case, it really is something that's a money-making thing. It is my mapping project. So I've been working on developing maps of the county and the lake. So far I have developed maps of, well, wait a minute. Let's stop here real quick. This is pretty neat. Looks like just the ice has been pushed up. Oh, these little like panes of glass. So that's pretty neat. And then we're, indeed, there's the Glendale Bridge. Nice big open expanse of ice out here. Boy, this would be perfect for skating. we have like a hockey tournament out here. But something pretty amazing about just the openness and the solitude. Anyway, back to our sponsor. Yeah, so I've been making maps. I've created 2 poster-sized maps, one of the entire county, one of showing details of Deep Creek Lake, and then all of the towns in the county. They're both poster-sized maps, 27 by 40 inches, which means they're easily frameable, and you can get them on my website. Just go to dimesy.com, dimesy.com. And then right now, I am running a crowdfunding campaign to fund the production of what I'm calling my ultimate adventure map. So this is going to be another map of Garrett County, but this one's going to be a fold-up style map. Kind of your standard road map type of thing. It's going to be printed on waterproof, tear-resistant paper, and it's going to show all of the trails, camping, fishing hotspots, historical sites, and everything you would want to plan your next outdoor adventure in Garrett County. So that's currently on Kickstarter, and you can go to my website and get a link for that. But if you back it, if you're one of the early backers, you get a nice discount over what it's going to cost when I make it available for retail. So I actually probably better concentrate on what I'm doing walking wise, but getting close. So I'm feeling better about my goal. We'll see. I'm coming in on the last cove of the day. So gonna be, there's the famous Paradise Point, Paradise Cove, and right beyond the tree there is gonna be the Glendale Bridge. So can't see it just from the vantage. But some pretty interesting, cool stuff going on here, ice-wise. I don't know, seismology. I don't know. Might be a little tough to see without any contrast. We got a nice big ice heave here. That'd be a pretty cool snowmobile jump, probably. And then you can kind of see where maybe either the sheets have formed and started running into each other, or started pulling apart, or something. But we've got our own little plate tectonics going on right here. So it is about 3 o'clock, and ever more hopeful I'll be able to get to the bridge before it gets dark. But this is a fairly long cove, so we'll see what happens. I'm here at the end of Paradise Point, and once again, very nice that I did this today. Miserable slog up through the mud and the, what's Johnny Cash line, the mud, the muck and the beer. But yeah, would have been a lot more work to get up there. I think you have to get all the way up to the road before there's a real crossing point. But definitely on the home stretch at this point. While I'm enjoying the hike and the experience, you always kind of have that point where you're like, okay, I'm all ready to be done for the day. But this will probably end just the right time. Gonna be getting dark. I'll be tired. It's getting colder. More snow's coming down. So sometimes things are just made to happen the way they do. Okay, I am out here at the iconic Paradise Point. It's a little tough to see from when you're actually on it, but just finished doing the cove there, and There's the Glendale Bridge. That is my stopping point for the day. That means I can essentially just walk home from when I finish this leg up. Got another interesting kind of a seismic looking, I don't know, formation there in the ice. But yeah, the snow's coming down pretty hard, which is great. Love it. But that's actually good news for temperature. It has to, if it's snowing, it's not sub-zero temperatures, so that's pretty good. But yeah, it's just a nice spot. I think the point is a lot of people's, one of their iconic visions of the lake. Just like that, it's still a nice little modest, house. As far as I know, the owners donated a boat to my Lions Club a few years back. I got to go inside, check out the house, and chat with them, and they are, the family of the original owner. So I hope it stays in the family and stays as a nice little modest house for a long time. But yeah, that's a good point on Lions Club. If you are watching this video, you probably have a boat at Deep Creek, maybe. So if that boat's getting near the end of its useful life, you may want to consider donating it to the Lions Club. We are tax exempt, so I would create a deduction for you, and then we sell them, and that money helps fund all the great stuff we do, the blind skiers, blind campers, other vision assistance programs we run, so all that great stuff. So there's a bonus commercial for you. But I guess the last commercial I'll do for just general causes around here is there's a lot. Some of the stuff I didn't talk about, like all of the robotics teams we have in the area. We really have some world-class robotics teams. We have a lot of other great charities, the Heart for Animals and the Animal Shelter. If you're looking for animal causes, we have a really great Dove Center for abused women, Habitat for Humanity, so the list goes on and on. I'm sure there's something you can find that's going to align to stuff that you're interested in. But yeah, just consider helping out if you can. It's a great community, and what makes it greater is people who help put the work in to do that. So I'll probably just have one more message when I make it to the bridge, but otherwise I'm just going to pound out the rest of the hike and enjoy the beautiful snow. I'm going to do my last video here just a little bit before I click the end of the activity tracker, but I wanted to get the view of the bridge behind me. So that's where I'm ending up today, and according to the tracker, I've done 14.2 miles, so that will, I have to like maybe 100 yards to the bridge here before I actually officially click it off. But not much to wrap up with, but this was a good choice on my end of doing it today when things were real frozen up. I was able to avoid a lot of the real marshy parts and the flowing water crossings. I may have shortcut a couple little areas since I could walk on the ice instead of some of the seeps where it's not quite a stream, but there's flowing water, and I just kind of said, I'm just gonna walk across the ice instead. But good choice on footwear and gear. Everything worked out well today. I was a little worried when I first started out. That wind was pretty brutal, but it definitely calmed down. Probably actually warmed up since it's snowing right now. Forecast calling for 2 to 4 inches the last I saw, which is great. Bring it on. get, at 2 to 4 inches every week, every couple days, for the rest of winter. That'd be perfect winter in my mind. Just to keep the snow on and the trails at the cross-country skiing at the Wisp, good to go. That would be perfect. So this is the completion of the southern half of the lake for me, and we'll be trying to finish up the rest of it coming weeks, hopefully. But until then, see you out in the lake.